Hello, am I audible now? Hello, hello. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I don't know what is the issue with the mic. Okay, so okay, I will start from. I have to start. Uh, so what I am talking about is, in case of a wireless technology, we normally use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Okay, so widely we use these two technologies for the wireless communication. Okay, but in case of a IoT standard, in the case of a IoT ecosystems, okay, so ZigBee protocol is widely used. Okay, ZigBee protocol is widely used. Okay, so what is the reason behind this? What is the reason behind this is the power consumption of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Okay, power consumption of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is much more higher as compared to ZigBee. Is much more higher as compared to ZigBee. Okay, so as per your experience, can you tell me which technology consumes more power, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth? Maybe you have a faced experience about this. Okay, so which technology consumes more power, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth? Yes, can you answer this? This is your experience. Okay, normally we use these two technologies. Okay, and as per your experience, okay, Vaishnav is saying Wi-Fi consumes more power. Yes, okay, so Wi-Fi consumes more power with respect to other technologies. Okay, but still Bluetooth also we can't use in the in case of IoT ecosystems. Okay, so what we have to do is, so actually, so if we compare with the power consumption, if we compare with the power consumption, okay, so obviously Wi-Fi is consuming more power as compared to Bluetooth, as compared to ZigBee, as compared to ZigBee. Okay, so this is the first reason why we are using the ZigBee protocols in IoT ecosystems. Okay, so ZigBee is again a short range protocol for the wireless communication. Okay, so obviously don't compare data rates over here. Okay, so you can say that, sir, but Wi-Fi is very good for a data rate. Okay, so yes, Wi-Fi is actually good in case of a data rate. Okay, but when you're talking about the embedded devices or IoT devices, okay, so we don't have that much data we have to transfer. Okay, so through Wi-Fi, when we have a maximum data rate, so through the Wi-Fi, we normally use videos or audios and all those medias are there. Okay, that's why obviously data transfer we have to do in a much bigger size, and the file size is also bigger in that cases. That's why we require the high data rate over here. Okay, so if you compare the data rates of this protocol, okay, so Wi-Fi will give you 1 Gbps. Okay, more than actually, not 1 Gbps, but it will give you the more than 1 Gbps of data rate. Okay, if you talk about the Bluetooth, okay, it is again having 1 to 3 Mbps. Okay, these are not exact, but around this data rates are given. Okay, so Wi-Fi and Bluetooth having a much more data rate as compared to ZigBee, and ZigBee is giving very less power, less data rate, that is 250 kbps. Okay, the data rate is 250 kbps, but still we are using the ZigBee protocol because it solves our purpose. It solves our purpose. First of all, the power is less, okay, and this speed is enough for us. Okay, this speed is enough for to send the data. Okay, because in IoT we are not sending the much more bigger size elements and all those things. Okay, small data. So though we are saying the variety of data, variety of sensors are there, but still it is it is less in size as compared to the media files when you compare to videos and audio files and all those things. Okay, that's why the ZigBee module is used. Okay, So just we will list down some points about ZigBee protocol. Okay. So ZigBee module, or you can say ZigBee protocol. Okay. So again, I have told you it is a short range, as like a Bluetooth. Short range. Okay. It is a low power wireless mesh network. Okay. Again, underline the ZigBee module, we are using the IEEE standard. Okay, 802.15.4. Okay, so this is used to create the personal area network. Okay, we are not going to create very big networks with the help of ZigBee modules. Okay, so this with this ZigBee module, we are going to create the personal area network. Okay, and the range is around 10 to 100 meters for these devices, or you can say the protocols. And for security aspects, again, when you talk about the IoT devices or IoT ecosystems, again, security is again an important issue aspect over there. Okay, again, security is a one more important aspect for that. So this protocol provides 128-bit symmetric encryption keys. Okay, so this provides 128-bit symmetric encryption keys. Okay, that's how this is used. That's how this is used. Okay, and then if you talk about the data size and the packet size, so here the maximum allowed payload. Okay, payload allowed maximum size is of 104 bytes. Is of 104 bytes. Okay, and the one more, so now this we can say it is a drawback of the ZigBee module, that the nature of transmission is a line of sight. Can anyone tell me the meaning of this? Nature of transmission. Okay, anyone please answer me this question. Okay, what is the meaning of this line? Nature of transmission is line of sight. Yes, tell me. What is the meaning of this? Nature of transmission is line of sight. Is line of sight. Okay, so here normally the ZigBee protocol doesn't work good if the obstacles are there between the sender and receiver. Okay, this protocol doesn't work to fullest if we are having the obstacles between the sender and receiver. So that is the one drawback we can say about this protocol. Okay, the nature of transmission is what? Line of sight means what? They should be accessible directly. Okay, the sender and receiver should be able to access directly. Okay, and the other thing is what? So if the we wants to cover more distance. Yes, yes. If we say yes, so if we want to transmit this data over a longer distance, then we have to uh, relay the packets. We have to relay the packets. We can say just like a hopping. Okay, just like a hopping, we have to relay the packets. By this way, we can achieve for the greater distances. Okay, but otherwise the range is again short range. But if we want to transfer data over a longer distance, so we have to relay the packets. That's the option is required, or that is the option we have. Okay, okay, so this is with the ZigBee mod protocol. Okay, so in case of ZigBee protocols, actually we have three types of nodes. In the ZigBee protocol, we have three types of nodes. We have three types of nodes. So first one is coordinators. The first one is coordinators. Okay, so initializing, maintaining and controlling the network, it is the job of this coordinator node. Okay, so in case of ZigBee, so there is only one coordinator per network. In case of ZigBee protocol, we have only one coordinator per network. Okay, that is your coordinator node. Okay, so initializing, maintaining and controlling the other devices or other nodes, that is job of the coordinator. Okay, so this, there are three types of nodes. First one is coordinator, second one is obviously we require routers. Okay, so this will connect the coordinator to other routers and the devices. Why the routers are used? So this will connect to the coordinators and the other routers or other devices, we can say. So that's why we require the routers over here. And the last one is end devices. Last one is end devices. So obviously end devices are not able to routing because they are just simple end devices are there. Okay, so to connect this coordinator with all the end devices, we require the routers. To connect the end devices with the connector node, we require the routers. Okay, so that is how this ZigBee protocol works. That is how this ZigBee protocol works. Okay, so there are now it is common. It is obviously a, wait a minute. I need to refresh. Okay, so it is obvious that if we use star topology, we use star topology. Okay, okay. Here we require no router. So no router is required if you use this kind of topology. Okay, one coordinator is sufficient. Okay, and we can connect one or more end devices. Okay, one or more end devices are okay. Sorry, I think it was okay. So what I'm saying, so if we use the star topology, if we are using the star topology, okay, so we don't require actually router over here because it is a star. Okay, second thing, one coordinator is there as per network. Okay, this already we have discussed that this is the condition. Okay, one coordinator is sufficient for that. Okay, so one coordinator is there, and obviously we can have one or more devices. One or more devices. Okay, but if you think about the mesh or star, sorry, mesh or tree. Okay, if you think about the mesh or tree, so obviously we're having one coordinator. So we're having one coordinator, and we can have many routers and end devices. Many routers and end devices. Okay, so depending on our topology, okay, you need to work on these nodes with respect to ZigBee. Okay, so depending on our topology, we have to work on these nodes. Okay, yes, this. Now the question is then which device we have which works on ZigBee protocol. Okay, so right now we are saying ZigBee. So ZigBee is a protocol. Okay, but suppose right now I want to use the ZigBee protocol for our practicals or for my ecosystem. So which tools or we can say which chips are available? Okay, which tool or we can say which chips are available which works on the ZigBee protocol? Okay, so normally already I have shared the photo with you. Okay, already I have shared the photo with you about that about this device. Okay, let me check. I will show you once again that photo. Let me start sharing photos. Okay, so which device we are having for this? So this is the device we normally use for this. Okay, XB, DGXB. Okay, so this is the device we are normally going to use. Okay, so this is the device we are going to use for the ZigBee protocol. Okay, so in lab we have a assignment. So this is actually part of unit number 4, but in the labs also, in the labs practical assignment list, we have a lab over the ZigBee module. So this is the chip we are going to use for our practical. So DGXB, okay, which uses the ZigBee protocol, which uses the ZigBee protocol. So obviously, so only one chip is not sufficient. Okay, to work on the to work or to communicate. Obviously, we require two devices. To do the communication, we require two devices. So obviously, this one is not alone sufficient. So this one can we can use as a transmitter or receiver. Okay, and one more device we required for that, and one more device we required for that. Okay, one more device we required for this protocol or for this module. Okay, so when you use the multiple devices, so one device we can use for the transmitting purpose and one device we can use for the receiving purpose. Okay, that is how it will work. Let me refresh the screen. Yes. Okay, so this XB, this is XB. Okay, so this supports the ZigBee protocol and its support range is 10 to 30 meters. Okay, 10 to 30 meter is the range for this XB chip. Okay, this is the chip we are going to use for this ZigBee modules, okay, or ZigBee protocols. Okay, so again, to work on this chip, again we have to use the we need to use the pin diagram for this chip. We need to use the pin diagram for this chip. Okay, so already we have seen the shape. Okay, what is the shape of this chip? It is like this. Okay, and from here the pins number starts. From here the pin number starts. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this 10 and again the pin on this side. Okay, so this 20 pins we need to use for this XB module. This 20 pins we are going to use for the ZigBee modules. Okay, so obviously we are not going to use all the pins as a part of this practical or as a part of to use this. So pin number 1 is for the VCC that obviously we required. Okay, pin number 1 we are going to use for the VCC. Okay. There are other pins are as well. So I think I will not write down all the names. Okay, I will just name which we are going to use. Okay, I will not write all the pin numbers which are there. Okay, pin number 10 we are going to use for the ground. Okay, pin number 1 for VCC. Pin number 10 we are going to use it for the ground. Okay, and pin number 20 and the pin number 20. Pin number 20 we are going to use. Okay, pin number 20 we are going to use. Okay, so pin number 20 is supports ADO or AD0, or we can say DIO 0 or CMSN button. Okay, means what? The pin number 20 can give us the analog input. Okay, ADO analog input it gives. Okay, commissioning button, that CMSN button it stands for the commissioning button. Okay, so we can use it as a button as well. And the third thing is DIO 0. DIO means what? Digital input output. Digital input output we can use. Okay, so The next question you can say me, sir, is it the only one pin is available for digital input output? So no. Okay, there are many more pins are available for the digital input output. Okay, so there are total 12 pins are available for digital input output. Okay, there are 12 pins are there for the digital input output. Okay, so same pin we are going to use it for the digital input and output. Okay, so how the connections are required? So how the connections are required over here? Okay, so suppose now in our lab scenario I will tell you. Okay, so we need to use two kits over there. Okay, obviously on one kit only one ZigBee module is there. We require the two kits while working with this practical. We require the two kits while working with this practical, because these chips are only one chips are there with the one board. Okay, okay, suppose like this this board we are using. Okay, and suppose this is my transmitter. Okay, and this is my receiver. Okay, this is my transmitter and this is my receiver. So obviously to work with this unit, to work with this first board, we required three pins. So one is we required VCC, 10 for ground, and 20 is for digital IO. Okay, now when you talk about the receiver, again same pins we are going to use VCC, 10 is for ground and 20 is for digital IO. Okay, digital IO. Okay, so same thing. So obviously I am not going to directly show you right now the commands, how to which commands are going to use over there, but depending on the situation, that pin number 20 we can use for the input as well as output. Okay, so this is how this ZigBee protocol and this ZXB chip we are going to use. Yes, are you getting till this? Any doubt till this? Any doubt till this? Okay, so this is how we are going to use this ZigBee modules. Okay. Now, while implementing the practical for this, it is a little bit different, like what we have already done. Okay, here we have to work with the serial connection, or we require the serial package with working with this ZigBee module. Okay, we require the serial library with working with this ZigBee module. Okay, so in short, we can say that the transmission between this sender and receiver. Okay, the transmission between this sender and receiver, it is serial transmission. It is a serial transmission. Means when we want to send the data from sender to receiver, or we can say transmitter to receiver. Okay, so while we talk about the sender, we should write that string over this device. We should write the string over the device, or we can assume like a socket. Okay, you can assume like a socket till this. Okay, means what? Means what? Whatever the pins 20 we are using. Okay, so we will write the string. We will write the string by using pin number 20. Okay, and in this case, we will read this string. We will read this string. Okay, this is how the communication takes place. This is how the communication takes place. Okay, so obviously it is obvious that we need to write two programs for our to work with this. Okay, so one program is for the transmission and one program is for the receiving. Okay, so two programs we need to write when we want to work with this ZigBee module. We want to work with this ZigBee module. Okay, So don't think that this is just a assignment. No. So this is the part of our theory syllabus. So in the exam, you may get the questions directly on explain the ZigBee protocol. Okay, you may straight away get the examples or the questions like explain the ZigBee protocol. So in that case, you should be ready with this all these points. So we have to first explain how it is different from the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, how it is better in case of embedded devices. Okay, and all those things you need to write down, which we have discussed now. Are you getting this? Okay, so all these points we need to explain when we want to work with the ZigBee protocol. Okay. Now the question is, so how this ZigBee module once we attach? Okay, so normally I have normally I am telling you from the day one that so the device, so the when you add any device, so it can be accessed as a file. It can be accessed as a file. That I have told you. Okay, so when we have seen that for the temperature sensor, okay, instead of a temperature sensor, already I have told you that when you reach to that folder slash sys slash bus, okay, slash w1 slash devices. Okay, so this is the directory. This is the directory. In the directory, you will find the directory starting with the name 28 something. Okay, so this directory is created for that sensor, for the temperature sensor. Okay, and under this directory we have a w1 dash slave file, and in this directory we normally read the temperature. Okay, so you can say that yes sir, for temperature whatever you have said it is right. So for every device we have a file. Are you getting this? For every device, we have a file. So for temperature, it's okay. So for and for GPIO purpose also, we have seen that. So with every GPIO, we are going to get the directory. So which sys class GPIO, and under the GPIO, we normally do the export and unexport for the specific pin numbers which we require. Okay. So what we have to do about the ZigBee module? Okay, then how to work with this XB device? How to work with this XB device? Okay, are you getting with this? See directly. So obviously, it is obvious that once you attach any device to your controller, okay, your controller doesn't directly support that device. Are you getting this? Okay, example I will give you once again. So if I attach the temperature sensor to our controller, does our controller automatically support that device, or we need to do some things are there? Yes, please let me know. Hello. Suppose I have purchased the new Raspberry Pi from the market. Okay, I have purchased the new the DS180's temperature sensor, and if suppose I have attached the sensor to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so can I directly access this temperature sensor? अरे झालं की आपलं बोलून टेम्परेचर सेन्सरचं प्रॅक्टिकल. Yes. What are the steps you have to follow? Hello. What are the steps we need to follow for that? Obvious now we have discussed. Now we have to insert those modules. I remember that. Yeah, we have discussed this part. Yeah. We need to insert the loadable modules for the devices. Okay. Already I have told you that one W1 dash GPIO and W1 dash home. These two loadable modules. These two loadable modules we need to add into our kernel, or you can say in the operating system, and then we are able to use that device. Am I right? Hello, am I right? Okay, because when you attach any device, it doesn't directly support for a device. Okay, so you can take example of printer as well. Okay, suppose you have a laptop, and if I suddenly attach the printer over USB port, does it support for that? No. We need to install the device driver for that printer with the operating system, and then whenever you try to print something from that printer, then and then you will get the option in the print menu that okay, select this printer, whichever it is, HP blah blah blah. Okay, and there you will get the option as HP or Epson or whatever printer you're using. Okay, there you get the option for that. Okay, so same thing is with this, same thing is over here, that so if you want to work with this XB module, we need to install, or we need to add ZigBee firmware. We need to add ZigBee firmware for that. We need to add ZigBee firmware for that. Okay, it is like a we can say it is like a bootloader. It is like a bootloader. It is like a bootloader. Okay, so we need to add this ZigBee firmware, then and then we can able to use this XB chip for our communication purpose. Are you getting this? So obviously, so for both the devices, obviously we require two devices over here. Okay, for one device. Again, don't be confused that so to work on this ZigBee protocol we require two controllers. No, I am not saying two controllers are required. I am saying two chips are required. Am I? Are you getting this? I never said that we require two controllers. I never said that we require two controllers. Okay. So actually, there is one more advantage of ZigBee over Bluetooth is, okay, I will write down in chat box. There is one more advantage over Bluetooth with ZigBee is what we can attach. We can attach more devices of ZigBee. Okay, we can attach more devices of ZigBee as compared to Bluetooth to a controller. To a controller. Okay, we can attach more devices of ZigBee as compared to Bluetooth to a controller. Means I mean to say, suppose if I am using the Raspberry Pi, if I am using a single Raspberry Pi, okay. So if I am able to connect two or three Bluetooth devices for that controller, so obviously the ZigBee devices or XB devices we can connect more in number to the single controller. Okay, we required, or we can attach more XB chips for the single controller. Okay, but you can ask, so you can say, Mr. But why this? Sorry, where is my pad? But you can ask me, sir, then why this two boards you are showing over here? Why this two boards you are showing over here? Because we are using the ready-made kit. Because we are using the ready-made kit from that vendor. So that vendor has given the interface for attaching only one ZigBee chip, or not ZigBee, XB chips for that kit. That's why we require two kits to be used for our practical. Are you getting this? Are you getting this point? Otherwise, if we are doing everything on our own, okay, if we are trying to connect everything on our own, then we can attach the two devices or two XB devices to a single controller. That is also possible. That is also possible. Okay, and out of that, one will act as a transmitter and one will act as a receiver. Are you getting this? Hello. Are you getting this? It depends on the situation. So here, as we are using the ready-made kit with that, that's why we are going to use the two different kits for that. And on one kit, we will attach one XB module and we will use it as a transmitter. And for second, we will use it as a receiver. Yes. Okay with this? Hello, please reply. Is it okay? Is it okay? Okay. So today here we will stop. Okay. So here we will stop, and the next lecture again we will try to discuss with the unit number 4 once again. Okay. Again, the some part from unit number 4 is remaining that we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Don't leave the meeting. Okay. You are having next lecture. Don't leave the meeting. Okay. I will stop my recording.